I thought I had buried that part of my life. The wild nights, the careless swipes, the endless scroll through profiles that promised excitement and novelty. I told myself it was behind me, that I had grown, that my husband and I were building a future together. "I'm done with my past life," I said more than once, and for a while I believed it. Then one afternoon, everything came crashing down. He found my Tinder profile. Not by accident, not by suspicion, but because he had been looking, quietly, carefully, for signs of what I was hiding. I didn't realize he had kept track of little inconsistencies, unanswered texts, disappearing weekends. When he showed me the screen, my stomach dropped, and I could feel the truth I had tried to bury rising like smoke, impossible to contain. I tried to explain, fumbling over words that felt thin and pathetic even as I spoke them. "I wasn't active," I said. I forgot to delete it." But the evidence was there. My pictures, my likes, even the messages I hadn't deleted. He didn't respond immediately. He just looked at me. And in that silence, I felt the weight of every betrayal I had tried to hide, every lie I had whispered to myself to feel better. The conversation was quiet at first, almost surreal. He asked questions I didn't want to answer, questions about who I had met, what I had said, what I had hoped for. I tried to justify it, to make it seem insignificant, but the more I spoke, the clearer it became that there was no justification for what I had done. My words were cheap attempts to patch over the trust I had shattered. By the end of the night, he told me he had already spoken to a lawyer. He filed for divorce. My chest tightened at the words, each syllable a punch to the reality I had thought I controlled. I hadn't cheated physically yet, not in the way most people imagine. But the emotional betrayal, the secrecy, the continued flirtation with possibility had been enough to destroy everything. Over the next few days, I watched him move through the motions of detachment. Calm, deliberate. He packed his things, kept track of finances, and maintained a quiet dignity that left me stunned. He wasn't angry in a way I could manipulate. He was resolute, unshakable. Every attempt I made to plead, to explain, to promise change, was met with polite refusal. He had already decided that trust, once broken, was not negotiable. The nights were hardest. Alone in the house we had shared, I thought about the years, the memories, the plans I had made with him. I thought about how easily I had taken his love for granted, how I had hidden pieces of myself that didn't belong to him, and how those hidden pieces now defined the end. I cried quietly, knowing it was too late. Eventually, he served the papers. I read them, the ink heavier than any words I could have imagined. The divorce was final within months, clean and clinical. No dramatic confrontations, no shouting, just the finality of decisions made and consequences accepted. I learned painfully that actions we think are harmless or forgotten never are. Every secret, every swipe, every small betrayal accumulates until it cannot be ignored. Some nights, I still think about how I lost him. How quickly trust can vanish, even without a physical affair. He didn't need to catch me in the act. The evidence of my choices was enough. And in losing him, I realized the truth I had never wanted to face. The past doesn't disappear simply because you say it does. He moved on with quiet dignity. I stayed, haunted by what I had done. The heartbreak wasn't just mine. It was the life I destroyed, the man I betrayed, the trust I could never reclaim. And the most painful part of all? I had told myself I was done with my past life. The past had simply waited for me to forget. And when I did, it caught up with me in a way that left nothing to salvage.